Hey everybody, welcome back to the second NC-17 today because I'm a dumbass. But anyhow, it's technical difficulties on my half. I do apologize. Today we have with us not only a phenomenal actor, but as a conversation we had earlier, a vet. So we have Jeff Kotowicz with us. Thank you for your service and thank you for being an awesome actor.
Well, thank you so much. You're making me blush. I appreciate it so much. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh yeah. Uh, so let's get into your childhood a little bit because we did discuss this. Go ahead if you want to kind of rehash that a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to do it. My first exposure to acting was when I was in fourth grade. They were looking for somebody to play Abraham Lincoln. No one wanted to do it. I was thinking, well, to get me out of class for a couple of hours. But I didn't realize how much fun it was going to be. Um, and then got to I actually had to memorize that whole Gettysburg Address, like studied for a month, and only forgot one line. So I think that's pretty good for a fourth grader.
That is good,
And
yes.
we have to do it in front of the class, and oh yeah, and they actually had me dressed up as Abe Lincoln with the top hat and everything.
That's pretty cool.
And
Uh,
then
oh no, go
getting
ahead.
later, oh, I'm sorry, getting
No,
later in a high school, my mom had me go to play one of the disciples in a church play. So that was like in front of like 400 people in a congregation. And then in between then, uh, me and my couple of my friends, we would just act out scenes from different movies and TV shows, just something to do.
oh yeah,
When it was raining and we couldn't go outside.
yeah. No, I think as a kid or as a teenager, I think we all kind of want to play what we see on TV. I'm not gonna lie. When
Yeah.
I was growing up, I wanted to be B.A. Baracus from the 18, but that's just me.
Oh, yeah. My thing was my first thing that I did with my friends was the $6 million man. We wanted to be Colonel Steve Austin, so we were pretending we had bionic powers and everything.
And you know what though? To be honest, you have your own power. You're a genuine, humble human being, and that's the greatest power you can have on God's green earth.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, you know. Uh, so let's go a little bit into the direction you went from your teens into your service a little bit, if you don't mind talking about that.
That's okay. Yeah, I went into a month after graduating high school. Went into the Army, basic training, South Carolina. Went to schooling in Georgia, Fort Gordon, and then I got shipped over to K-Town, Kaiserslautern in West Germany, and it is cold over there.
Oh yeah. Uh,
And I went into teletype communications, and that's when I learned how to type.
okay. Did you see a life in the military for yourself, like long term, or was it something that, or not long term?
I really wasn't sure, but honestly, it really wasn't the life for me.
Yeah.
Um, they do have a lot to offer, but it's just everyone has their own thing. So when my time was up, I got out. But then I was thinking, as I got older, maybe I should have stuck out just a little bit more so I could take some more classes and learn stuff. But I really wasn't thinking about my future right then and there because I was
Oh,
I was young and dumb, as they say. You know.
oh yeah. So getting out of the military and what was the first thing you did after you got out of the military?
Well, I moved back in with my mom and stepfather, and then just got a job and went to college for a little bit, took some classes, and then just different jobs, and many years passed by, and then up to a few years ago, well, I just made some friends along the way that liked movies and stuff, and we were just even still in my 20s and 30s, went into just pretending we were in movies and acting scenes out, and that was always so much fun.
Oh yeah. Uh, so let's talk about where you got your break at. If you want to go into that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Happy to. Uh, what is this, 25, 22? I think it was like May of 22. They had the Fourth State Comic Con at the Hagerstown Community College, and I went up there, not knowing anybody, just wanted to go up there and check it out. And Matt Burns and Mark Byrne was holding a panel on how to make movies really cheap, and just went in there to watch it. And I just walked up to him after the panel and I said, "Hey, I'm interested in acting, but I don't have a degree. I don't have any schooling. I mean, all this and all that." It's like, and then I'm thinking, "Shut up! Stop trying to disqualify yourself." you know, you know. But I was just being truthful. I
Oh
said, "How can I break in?" And Matt just said, "Hey, we're filming a zombie movie. Would you like to be an extra in a zombie movie?" I mean, on
yeah.
the outside, I said yes, but on the inside, I was screaming like a little kid. And he said they had just finished up in Waynesboro, and there's going to be another 3 weeks till they start shooting in Orangeburg. And then I went down there, and so my first day, I got attacked, and ended up getting turned into a zombie. And Matt asked me, said, "Well, you want to come back as a zombie?" I'm like, "Yeah." And it just went from there, and just started meeting people, talking to people, and just showing, that I was really interested in doing this. And the great thing was, I didn't know what was coming. I didn't know what to expect because so many people had so many credits and experience and training and so on and so forth, and I had nothing. And they couldn't have been any more graceful, helpful, thoughtful, anything. And I was just so humbled, and they're just all and learned real quick about the independent film community. They really want to help everyone else succeed, and I've had the opportunity to pay that forward to new actors.
Oh, that's awesome. Uh, so speaking of Zero, there is a part two in the works.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, I do. I am in that. I'm playing an FBI agent, and I think that's pretty much all I can say. Um, so um, it's coming along slowly because the actor Wesley Spangler is a country music artist, and he goes on cruises and performs, and he's doing really well for himself. He's got like music videos and albums and stuff. So he films when he can, and when he's back in the area, it's like, hey, we'll get a little bit of filming done. Then he's back out for 2, 3 months, So
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's coming along really well.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of great people he's brought on board.
Oh, yeah. Uh, let's go a little bit more into your filmography. It's a word I don't use too often. You got your start in a short called Attack of the Toilet Bowl Baby Zombie.
Well, actually, Zero was my
Oh,
start.
yeah, yeah, Zero. I'm sorry. Well, you play Dr. Dinglinger?
Dr. Denlinger.
Yeah.
Actually, a good friend of mine who passed away last year after 37 years of friendship, great guy. But I got his permission to use his name, and he was because he's such a good friend, and his name was Ross Denlinger. So I play Dr. Denlinger. I play a baby doctor.
Man, sorry for your loss.
I really appreciate that, but playing that part, that was the most dialogue I had up to that point, and it was a lot of fun. It's a 15 minutes short. It's a well, it's a cheesy movie. It's more of a kind of like almost like a comedy more than a horror film, but it's pretty involved in that. Not just playing the doctor, because I just really, when I started with zero, I'm just like, I want more. I want to learn more. I want to do more. I want to help this, that, and the other. And then Wesley let me, operate the camera on a few scenes. Got to help, with, other days I was just a PA, just to be around, and then just meeting other people, which is great.
Oh, yeah. You are also in another one. I believe it's on Tubi called One of One.
Yes, yeah. When I met Mark at the when I met Mark Byrne at the Four State Con, he when I told him it's interesting, I said I can get you in. He said I won't have any lines. You won't have any lines, but I can get you in my film One of One. And it was a real quick scene. A wonderful actress named Joanne, who was in Zero, walks behind me, and I'm just like checking her out, and that's my scene. It's like you blink, you'll miss it.
Oh yeah.
But he definitely recognized me.
Oh yeah. You're also in another one called Anna Key.
Yes. I started off, actually, that's where I met Shannon Atkins. We were just dance partners in the background, and I was down there twice because just needed background people. And um, the second we actually, I think it was the last day of filming, we were pretty much wrapped, and I was just going around and just saying bye to everybody. I just like saying hi and bye. And
Yeah.
then Matt called me over, and I thought he was going to tell me, "Oh, really appreciate you coming down." I was like, "Okay," like, "Yeah, great." And he says, "I got a couple lines for you." I'm like, "Really?" So I'm very early in the film, and I got to have a couple lines with the lead actors, Abigail Hendricks. It's another quick scene, but at the premiere, everybody busted out laughing because
Yeah.
it was really funny lines.
Oh yeah. Uh, we will get to the Sibylla Six here in a minute because there's a couple other ones I want to talk about real quick. You play Steve in Blood and Breakfast.
Yes, Mark Byrne production. I play an ex-military op, which is pretty cool because ex-military and such. And um, we I meet with the sheriff in a restaurant, and the sheriff comes to me when he needs someone. So I'm the guy with the connections.
Oh yeah.
And there was something I wanted to do. I didn't think about it when we shot One of One. I said because we're in a record store and I'm looking through DVDs, and it didn't hit me till afterwards because I love Easter eggs in movies and TV shows. And I didn't think about it till afterwards when I talked to Mark about it. I said that's a good idea. And my idea was have a couple of his movies in my hand, you know. So
Yeah.
when we shot Blood and Breakfast, I brought some of his movies up that I had bought. And there's two of them sitting on the table when I set my menu down on top of them. So
Oh,
quick little Easter egg there.
oh yeah. You play Dr. Kotowicz.
Kotowicz, yes.
Yeah, Kotowicz. Sorry. Sorry. Kotowicz
I
and
know it's not an easy name.
uh in the Slasher Nurse.
Yes, yes, that was up to that point my biggest role. Uh, filmed that about 18 months ago. We just had the premiere maybe 2 weeks ago, and resounding success. Sold out two theaters down there
Oh dang.
um, for the premiere, and I the facility director or lead psychiatrist, and I had like 2.5 pages of dialogue. So that was a big challenge for me, and it went really, really well. And it was just fantastic people that I got to work with. Dave had contacted me ahead of time, said, "You want to be my movie Slasher Nurse?" I'm like, "Well, hell yeah." He said, "It's not a big role, but it's an important role."
Yeah.
So I was all in on that, and it was a blast.
Oh yeah. One more movie to talk about, and then we'll get into the Sibylla Six.
Okay.
You are cast as second front agent in These Things.
Yes.
Yes. I saw you in the trailer.
Yeah, yeah. It's another one. If you blink, you miss me. But
uh,
I'm honored to be part of that. Because I love sci-fi. I mean, I really like horror. I like horror a lot, but sci-fi, it's just ever since I was a kid, I loved all the sci-fi stuff. Growing up watching Battlestar Galactica, the old one and the new one with Edward James Olmos and Jamie Bamber, Tricia Helfer, and all them. And then it's huge. I absolutely love the X-Files.
oh yeah.
I was like those two series run neck and neck for me.
Oh yeah.
Um, and to be able to finally be in a sci-fi movie, I really felt like Agent Mulder in that. I mean, I was in the suit and everything, and I got to work. I'm in two scenes with Brandy Lynn Dalton and Jordan Hunley, and it was just so much fun and great, you know, just
Oh
the
yeah.
incredible cast and the production, and I was honored Matt asked me to be in that.
Oh yeah. Uh, so before we get into the Sibylla Six, what would you say has been your favorite moment so far?
Oh, favorite moment so far for any movie. Ooh, it's a tough one to answer. I'm trying to remember what I could think of. Um, I guess probably. Well, when I got attacked and turned into a zombie, uh, my first day on set when I got attacked, because when I was a kid, I loved the zombie movies. Um, I said it'd be so cool to get turned into a zombie, you know. And and then and then my first scene was I was a human, I was being attacked, and it bit and everything. And before that, a good friend of mine, Nicole, she suggested, "Oh, when you get bit, when you're on the ground, you should like shake, like the poison's going through. You do a leg shake," and I did that, and it's on. So when she watched it, I said, "I told you I did it." So I said, "So that's kind of an ode to you. So thank you for that suggestion."
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
That was awesome. Uh, let's get into the Sibylla Six. So you play the lead in this film.
yes,
Uh,
yeah,
can you go into detail on how that came about?
yeah. It was a complete shock to me. September 2 years ago, well, a year and a half ago, whatever. Um, we I was out playing volleyball with some friends, and then her and Shannon Atkins and Matt Burns were texting me, and Shannon was like, "What are you doing?" So I'm playing volleyball with friends. It's like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to be directing a movie, and I want you to be in. I'm like, okay, cool. So, and you're going to be the lead. I'm like, wait, what? And it said, "Are you sure you want me?" I'm like, "Why me?" I said, "Why not?" Because I truly believe putting the best people in the best spots to get the best possible movie.
Yeah.
Because I felt I wasn't ready. It only had like a couple lines here and there, and then with Slasher Nurse had a couple pages of dialogue, and then to go jump from that to the whole thing, being the lead, I just didn't know if I was ready. But Shannon was more confident about me than I was. She saw something in me and grateful for it. And so I asked her when I called her when I got home. We literally spent 5 hours on the phone that night
Dang.
talking about everything. Yeah, 5 hours. And I said, "Are you sure? What about Jesse Green? What about Russell Sage Patrick? Because they are phenomenal actors." And they said, "Well, I just want someone new, a new face." And then she said, "There's a role is perfect for you." So she just kept saying, like, the role is perfect for you. And then she said when she was going over the list of characters who she wanted to play, and when she came to mind role of Charlie, she said she could only think of me because I guess, we met each other a couple times on sets, and I guess she saw something and saw that this Charlie character was me and I was him and such.
Oh yeah.
And she had talked to Matt about it, said, yeah, that's a good idea. Just give him a call and try. And then they said Russell and uh, Jesse were all on board with it. They said, that's a really good idea. Just basically a no name. And I told her I would put my heart and soul in it. And she said, I know you will. Hearing things like that means so much,
Oh yeah.
you know. And she had so much confidence in me and said, I told her, I'm not going to let you down, you
Yeah.
know. And I spoke with Russell and Jesse separately after that. And just to confirm, I said, I just wanted to hear, like, they said, yeah, I had their total blessing,
Oh yeah.
which was great.
Oh yeah. Uh, so the Sibylla Six is, like I was telling Shannon on her episode, and we discussed earlier, it's a very strong story that needs to be told. It
Yes.
is pretty much a story of women empowerment, which is what we need in society today as a whole.
Yes. I completely agree.
Being the lead in a movie that has such a powerful message, what was your first initial thought of, like, once you read the script and you kind of knew what you were getting into all the way to where you are now?
Well, once I started reading the script, because Todd Martin, tremendous writer, was sending in bits and pieces to Shannon, and she would forward them to me.
Yeah.
And probably once I got to about, like, say, page 50 or 30, or no, actually it was page 30. I do remember it. I contacted Shannon and says, "You weren't kidding that I'm perfect for this character." I said, "Have you been spying on me last 20 years?
Oh
Because
yeah.
I can relate to this character so well." And she saw that,
Yeah.
and the character is just, I played Charlie, and a farmer, and he lives in a small town. Everyone knows everyone else's business. That's how small towns work. And I am so honored to help get this message out. Kind of like it's like a PSA on the dangers of dating apps and such, and the internet and everything. And Shannon and a couple other the actresses were telling me some stories, and then I was relating to that because I know I have some lady friends, and it's like there's just a lot of bad people out there, and y'all got to really stick together. So I just get this message out, just make people aware of just how dangerous society is anymore,
Oh yeah.
and um, just get that message out and be a part of it is fantastic.
Oh
It's
yeah.
almost like a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because it's like, just I know people are going to get emotional. That's what we're going for. We want to have emotional reaction.
Yeah.
You know, the people can relate, and the people, women are like, oh my God, I've had to deal with guys this crazy. And then guys be like, oh my God, I had this friend of mine who go through this, things like that, you
Oh yeah.
know.
Uh, on a side note, so my wife and I, we rewatched the interview I did with Shannon, and it brought her to tears because when she was younger, of course, before she met me, we've been together for 17 years, and we met on MySpace.
Congratulations. I remember MySpace.
Oh yeah, not a lot of people do.
No.
But the thing is online social media, anything, our fingerprint is everywhere, you know.
Unfortunately.
And for women to be preyed upon, I'll say it like that,
Mm.
by just deviance. Not saying everybody out there is a bad person, but there's more bad than good in those situations. But for you and the women that star in this movie to stand together and just say, hey, we're putting stories out there, and we hope you relate, and we hope you can draw inspiration. My hat's off to you, and it's all the respect in the world for you guys.
Oh,
You know,
thank you. I know, on behalf of everybody, we really appreciate that. That's what we're going for.
Oh yeah.
That's the message.
Oh yeah. So with that being said, the Sibylla Six is supposed to be premiering this year sometime. I think later in the year, I think around October. Uh, what are the hopes? I mean, we kind of touched on it already a little bit, but what are the hopes that you wish the audience have, and then you seeing it on a big screen? What are your hopes for you?
I hope we deliver the message and we really get everything through to everybody and they understand what we were trying to do. And then at the same time, I'm kind of expecting or hoping that, we are. I was actually speaking with Amanda and Megan about it, and I said we're really going for like a range of emotions, because of different people relate in different ways. And I'm hoping to hear, uh, not in a bad way, to almost kind of hear people crying because they can relate to it so much. I mean, it's almost bringing up bad memories for them.
Yeah,
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean that as like, we understand. We're here with you.
yeah,
Okay. We're helping you get the information out of what you've gone through. And at the same time, I actually want to hear people like yelling at the screen or cheering when something happens or laughing,
yeah,
just really hoping that they get so emotionally involved.
yeah. Uh, so here's a question specifically for you.
Okay.
Was there and you don't have to answer, and it's all respect. Was there a moment in your life to where it was such a either traumatizing or just a moment that you wish didn't happen that you had to find the strength to kind of push forward and move on?
Um, yeah, I don't know if this would count, but I think the most traumatic thing that happened to me personally, when I was a freshman in high school, I was misdiagnosed for bladder infection. Come to find out, it was my appendix,
Oh,
and it ended up rupturing,
mm,
and it nearly killed me. And I was very, very active as a kid, playing ball with my friends, riding bikes and everything. I didn't smoke. I didn't do drugs. I wasn't overweight. Um, and I was in great health. And I remember my mom telling me that the doctor told her I had a 50-50 shot at best.
yeah.
And I was in the hospital for a month, hooked up to IVs. Then I had to be homeschooled for a couple months. So it was a rough road.
Uh, well, thank you for sharing that with us. Uh, with the release of the Sibylla Six, there's going to be people who love it. There's going to be people who are going to be like, not my type of thing. Just your naysayers. What would you say to the people who would be the naysayers?
Well, first I would thank them for giving it the opportunity. I mean, we all have movies that we're not big on. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Saw series, but not everyone is. And a lot
Yeah.
of people love the Halloween series, but I'm not big on Halloween. Everyone's different, you
Uh,
know. But at least if they give it a chance, I'm thankful for that.
yeah.
And hopefully, we'll have less naysayers than naysayers. But we'll see. But I think we're going to really touch a lot of people. Really touch them here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We got about 9 minutes left.
Okay.
Uh, what would you tell 10-year-old you back then that you know now that you didn't know back then?
Um, I was really into electronics back then, but I had problems with my eyes because my heart was there, and I was like, "Hey, back off on the electronics. Do that as a hobby because eyes are very colors are very important. Just do more in acting because I found out how much I love this, The people I work with are amazing. I love them all. The opportunity to say, it really is like a cohesive family. And I would have said, after I get out of the army, go take some classes. And I literally tell people, I said, I wish I would have started this 30 years ago, but I had no idea how to do it. Of course, there was no internet. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought you had to go to like a big Ivy League school or overseas or know someone famous or be rich to get in acting. I didn't know. I had no idea. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
that's what I wish I would have known then. It's like,
Oh
it's not like that.
yeah. Oh yeah. Uh, I'd like to take a minute to kind of just congratulate you on being true to who you are. You know.
Thanks. I take pride in that.
Oh yeah. It's it's very very hard to find anybody nowadays that's just true to who they are. And I've been fortunate enough and blessed enough to be able to meet people such as yourself, Shannon, like tons of people and out of the entertainment business that in some way, shape, or form, even as I'm getting older, I'm 45, but even as I'm getting older, you guys are still shaping my life in such positive ways. Because until I met you guys, I would have never known anything about. I mean, I knew about like the hazards of this and that, but I never would have known to the extent of what the hazards were. You know?
I mean, that right there, I'm getting choked up hearing you say that. I mean, that means so much that I'm and only everyone else in the industry that we're having such an influence on you. And like I said, helping shape your life, and they're shaping my life, and people that follow us that like what we're doing is helping even shaping my life. So thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, for the opportunity to speak this and share things. I mean, I'm learning so much about you just tonight.
all right. Well, it's my honor and my privilege and my pleasure talking to you and just everybody who 2 years ago, this was a wrestling podcast, you know? And I love wrestling, but I love movies. So when I went to film, it was like, I'm just going to do a review here and there. But the fact that you guys are willing to take a risk and a chance on coming onto the show makes me more happier than the only other thing that makes me happier than this is the day that I married my wife.
Of course.
So she'll tell you otherwise, but I mean, like you guys have a profound impact on, like I said, who I am because we see life in different ways, but we see entertainment in the way that we want to see it. And you can know who the real people are and who are just there to get paid. You know, I mean, we all want to get paid, but still.
Well, a lot of this, like majority, there's no pay, but it's just because we love the art, and just meeting other people, getting opportunities, and basically just something to do. It's like when you went out when you're a kid, going out to play with your friends. This is like going out and play with our friends, but there's a little bit more at stake. People are dependent on you,
Oh
which is
yeah,
the grown up part. So it's like a win-win. And if we get paid sometimes, okay, fine. But and then especially with Shannon and some other directors I've worked with, they make sure we're fed, which is always very courteous. Not always necessary, but it's deeply appreciated.
oh yeah,
It really they care, and appreciate us, and then in turn, it's like, well, I'm going to work even harder for you.
oh yeah. So we have about 4 minutes left. Well, 3.5 minutes left. Is there anything briefly that you would like to say to someone who's trying to get into the industry?
I have. I just tell them go to just do what I did. I mean, it's how I got started. I'm sure everyone has their own story. Went to the four state Comic Con, and there's actors, producers, directors, just go up there and say you're interested in breaking into the business. You'll start off as an extra, a background, a victim, anything, and most independent films are always looking for extras, you know, depending on the scenes, you know, and then, you know, you just start talking to people and show that you're reliable, and, you know, the opportunities will come.
Oh yeah. Uh, I want to say thank you, Jeff, for coming on. Thank you for blessing us with your presence today.
Oh, you're too kind.
uh, as I say to everyone who comes on the show, once you've been on NC-17, you have a home here. You can come on anytime, even if it's to say you got a booger in your nose.
I've seen other podcasts, and you say it every time, and it makes me laugh every time. That's hilarious. You're
Oh,
awesome.
oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. You're making me blush. But it has been an honor and a privilege just talking with you, getting to know you, and getting to see your love for the art that you do. So for myself and everyone at NC-17, which is a couple other people, but mostly me, I do want to thank you again. And anytime you want to come on, my friend, you are more than welcome.
Okay, I really appreciate that, and I look forward to it already.
All right, everybody. Until next time, stay NC-17.